This week, I'm in Louisiana visiting my sister, Monica. She's a very successful online entrepreneur, so it would be a complete waste not to film a video with her. We asked online entrepreneurs to share the assumptions people make about what they do for a living. I would love to do that, but I can't because of X, Y, Z.
Insert excuse or reason here. I actually heard this quote from a friend and I love it and it's stuck with me ever since, and it's don't let your reason be your excuse. So someone might say, oh, I would wish I could do what you do, but I have 3 jobs, I don't have time. So rather than saying, oh, I'm not going to put the time into learning a business because I have 3 jobs, what you should be saying is, I'm going to put the time in to learn this business because I have 3 jobs and I don't want to have 3 jobs. I want to change my circumstances. So don't let your reason be your excuse, let it be your motivator.
That is really
right?
good.
I feel like we should just let that sink in and marinate. When someone tells you that you're just wasting your time and money.
Yeah.
I don't know that someone has ever flat out said that to me, but I mean, this video is about assumptions, so I think it's fair to say that people have assumed that maybe without saying it flat out, or maybe someone has told you that you straight up are.
I've put in a lot of money to things like logo design, a ton of random online stuff that isn't really a physical product, and some people just don't understand why I put so much money into. Even my subscription service for YouTube Music, my mom is like, why?
It's like planting seeds. So when you go to a 9-to-5 job, you're exchanging your time for money. And with entrepreneurship, you're planting seeds and you're not necessarily reaping your harvest yet. You're not in your harvest season.
Yes.
People just assume you're wasting your time because they don't see like the actual fruits of your labor yet. That sounds like a cool hobby. I've never heard that one before of you. Anyone who is an online entrepreneur has heard that or knows somebody who thinks that what they do is a hobby and not like a career or something that is taken seriously.
And I feel like with entrepreneurs, a lot of people pursue something that they actually like that is part of their hobby.
That's true.
At least in my case, like writing is a hobby for me, but I also want to turn it into something more than that.
Yeah, and like monetize it so that it can be something you love, but that's something that also earns you income.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you're like
explain.
further on in your business, so if they say that it's a hobby, you can kind of prove them wrong by showing them stuff. But in my case, when they ask me what I'm going to do, it's kind of like I'm still not even there yet. So
but it's a motivator to prove to like,
yeah, exactly,
look, watch me do this thing.
You can work on that later. Yes.
Yes.
This happens to me all the time when people just assume that because I don't have a traditional part-time job, I could just drop everything and do something completely different.
You have to prioritize your time as if it is anything that you can't drop the ball on, right? Like if you have a 9-to-5 job, you can't just show up to work late. You have to show up for your job. It's the same thing. But when you're self-employed, you make your own hours. And it's, I think, difficult for other people to honor those hours or understand. Yeah. I've learned that because our career is so flexible, we actually have to be way more diligent about time blocking and protecting those hours. Because of the flexibility and inconsistency of not having a routine, it can be easy to just get distracted. And so it's super important to time block and protect your time.
A lot of times I need to be more strict about protecting my own hours rather than just saying that, other people aren't respecting my time. It's like I have to be more firm about how that time is valuable for me and like really say like I need to be working during this time and live to that.
Absolutely.
You're always working, which kind of ties into the whole hustle culture that's been going around on the internet.
Yes, this one hits home for me. I think we both actually have talked about how we've had to learn the lesson the hard way, and when you're really passionate about something, it's easy to stay up all hours of the night or to just like put off other things because you're so passionate about what you're doing. It's so important to make sure that it doesn't seep into other areas of your life and affect your relationships. In my case, like my family, my husband, my son. It's so important to not hustle
Yeah.
like crazy, because that's not sustainable either. Like, we're not doing this stuff.
You don't have to outwork everyone and
Yes.
like be working at all hours to get to the top or anything, because it's also about how smart you use your time.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one is a contrast to the last point, which is like, oh, you're working all the time, or you always have to hustle. So some people might assume that it's super easy and it doesn't require hard work. It's just, you probably got lucky or you got in at the right time. There's nothing more cringy though than saying that you just got lucky.
Yeah.
It's like devaluing all of your work.
Yeah. There was one person back in the day who said, you're so lucky that you have the time to write a book. And it was like, ooh, I had to make that time. You know, I had to carve out the time in my day to actually sit down and write, not even knowing if I would ever publish it. You know, that was like a huge project.
Yes. We all have a life, we all have priorities. It's not like we're just sitting around twiddling our thumbs and the only people who build businesses are the ones who have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's about time blocking and finding that time to work on it.
You are not qualified to do X, Y, or Z.
Do you feel that's true, that you need to be qualified to work?
I do not think that's true. Getting a formal education isn't exactly the best way to learn how to do something.
I, like Mel, did not go to college and instead started working when I was 18, and by the time all of my friends were graduating college at age 22, I had been working in the industry for 4 years. So the people who graduated college were getting entry-level jobs that I had gotten when I was 18, and so I was actually further along just in experience. And so sometimes like the certification or the paper or the qualification doesn't necessarily apply to real life. And the other thing too is that not everybody is looking for an expert. People want to see themselves in the mirror and they're following people they can relate to. And so they want to see someone who's going through the journey and in their chapter 1 and watching them progress. That's a lot more inspiring than seeing someone who feels out of reach or like they already made it. Like,
so
how do
true,
how do you get there? I think there's always room for your voice to be heard, even if you're not an expert. Okay, the next one, I've heard this so many times, and that is, oh, I would love to do what you do, but I'm not salesy, or assuming you have to be salesy or salesperson to make money online.
Influencer marketing has been really big right now. I don't think that brands are going to traditional ads as much as they used to, rather than like reaching out to people who have a following, because people want to buy from actual people.
So it's all about people first, product second.
Right.
So you're wanting to build that like, know, and trust factor through building rapport.
People will judge me or not take me seriously. I mean, that one still kind of gets to me sometimes because it's been kind of hard for me to make the decision not to go to college. There's kind of like a pressure to get big fast so that I won't get those judgments anymore.
And even if you did get big super fast and you made it, you're still gonna have people who don't take you seriously.
That's so
It's
true.
not like there's
Yeah,
never
I mean,
a
look at
guarantee.
you.
I know, like I still struggle with that.
You can-
Because if you are relying on validation from others to make it, I mean, that's just building your house on sand instead of a rock foundation. It's you have to, as an online entrepreneur, find validation from within without relying on others. I get that that's a valid fear. We've both experienced that, like fear of what people will think. I think that's probably the most common fear with anything.
I get a lot of YouTube comments about like, I want to write a book, but I'm so young. Like I'm only this age, so can I really start a business? It doesn't really have to do with their thoughts on their abilities at their age. I feel like it has to do with being scared of like how other people will perceive them based on their age.
People aren't afraid to start, they're afraid to be seen starting
That is
small.
so true.
Yeah. The loud, negative people who have judgments are the people in the popcorn stands. Like if you think of it as a stadium, they're like up in the bleacher seats judging you. Well, they're not the ones in the arena or on the court, you know? Like they're not the ones making it happen. So I can't hear you from up there. Sorry, Karen. All right, last but not least, this one I think we all have heard, and that is you have to have a following to be successful. Everybody starts with 0 followers.
Most people don't inherit their following.
Yeah.
So
Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's book 100. Everybody's at different stages in their journey, and remember when you find yourself in that comparison trap that they started just like you at ground zero. Assumptions don't matter. Hopefully these are good reminders that regardless of what anyone else thinks or assumes about your business, doesn't make them true.
Very well said.
High five, and high five to you at home. Keep chasing your dreams.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like and comment to let us know if any of these assumptions have been common in your life or
if we missed any.
Yeah. I will leave my sister's social links in the description below so you can go follow her.
She thinks. Make sure to subscribe to Mel. She puts out videos every Friday. Go watch her old videos. Give her a like.
My old videos.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the next one is the
No.
Ooh, this one. Okay.
Tricky. Tricky. Let me think about that one.
I'm trying to think and my brain's empty. I don't know what to say.
You kind of just have to. Okay. What is this guy doing?
You just noticed.
Staring into my soul. Who is he?
This lead actor in Outlander.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video.